Well, Republican primary voters are still sorting through what they heard last night, the only time all three GOP candidates for governor will debate. And it was right here on 9 News.
It was worth watching. You could still watch it. There were some wild claims made without evidence. And in one case, a candidate acknowledging they got something wrong. Our Kyle Clark was the moderator.
Yeah, so Kim and Phil, one of the things that we've been reporting on here for a couple of months now is that Republican State Rep Scott Bottoms is making a claim that there are up to 50,000 Tren de Aragua gang members in Colorado, which is weird because that is 10 to 20 times the number of TDA gang members worldwide, according to the U.S. government. And Bottoms also says that sheriffs are preparing to deputize Special Forces veterans to fight them.
Do you stand by your claim, and will you finally present your evidence tonight?
Yeah, this is the first half of your question. The 45,000. So I actually went back because I was told that by 2 ICE agents. So I went back and I talked to federal authorities, actually this week, federal officers, and they said I got that wrong. That what they said was actually happening is 45,000 Venezuelans came directly to Denver and then applied for asylum, and they said there's probably 60 or 70,000 Venezuelans, not cartel, but just Venezuelans. And I said, okay, so I'm going to have to go on Kyle Clark's show and say that differently. And they said, but we do know there's a few thousand cartel in the state of Colorado. I got that one wrong. I misunderstood what the ICE agent was saying, so I checked it on this week. Now, going to all the 65 sheriffs in all the counties, I've talked to a couple that said you never called them. You want me to give you some names?
We emailed every single sheriff's office multiple times. We heard back from 40 of the more than 60 sheriffs, and the sheriffs that we heard back from did not support your claims. The one sheriff that you name-checked in your lengthy response to us, Teller County Sheriff Jason Meixel, who was a previous candidate for governor, said you're confused about things you see on the news, which I believe you just confirmed when you said you couldn't tell the difference between the 45,000 Venezuelans who came to Colorado and 45,000 Tren de Aragua gang members, which do not exist in the whole wide world.
So I'm right about the fact that not all 65 told you that.
Absolutely. What I said was that
15 didn't.
What I said was that we couldn't find one who says you're telling the truth.
That's a funny way to spin that.
Would you like to name the ones who support your claim?
I don't have to now. You just did 15.
No, those are 15 that didn't respond, sir. That's not how math and logic work.
So it was not the only time in the debate that Bottoms couldn't find his facts with both hands. He also struggled to explain how he could eliminate property taxes in Colorado, then make up that $20 billion budget gap for schools, fire departments, and hospitals solely by eliminating taxpayer funding for abortions, transgender surgeries, and immigrants. By our math, his cuts would cover 1% of that gap. He similarly couldn't make the math on his claim that he had found $30 billion worth of corruption in Colorado. That would equate to 2 out of every $3 in the state budget. Take away Kim and Phil saying things fun, easy, entertaining, providing the factual basis for those things in a public forum, big hard.
Big hard. Looking at the other 2 candidates, Barbara Kirkmeyer did offer some specifics on
a lot of details. Yep.
On policy. I didn't hear it from Victor Marx.
No.
He didn't really answer a lot of questions.
He didn't. I watched the debate back just to see what I might have missed the first time around. And Victor Marx, he's big on the folksy charm. He's a vibes guy, right? He's a big alpha dude who talks about, violence and saving people and doing rough stuff and go America. And he certainly has carved out a lane for himself in the primary with that. He's the big-time fundraising leader. He's got the big mo. People think that he is the likely favorite. But when it came to actual details about how to run the state government, or even just demonstrating an understanding of how the state government works, if he has it, he didn't share it last night.
Yeah, and I think our politics as of the last decade or so, there are politicians who will just say something over and over and over again, and people will believe it. So there's a track record for these folks to be doing this.
Sure, and at the end of the day, right, it's not an attack, it's not an assault for a journalist or a voter to just say, hey, what's the evidence of that? Or like, Do you know how the state government works? Like, those are not attack lines. Those are not assaults on a person's character. It's pretty basic stuff. If you want to run the government, do you have any idea how it works? You're making wild claims. You want to provide some evidence for that? But it's an interesting time we live in.
And tomorrow night, it's the Democratic candidates. They're going to get asked those same questions and fact-checked.
Well, not the same questions because
No,
they haven't made some of the same wacky claims, but we'll ask them other questions about things that they have actually said.
Right.
And that's the job. That's the job.
That's the job.
You hold them to task. All right, Kyle, we look forward to the next one, too.